I know who he was. I know all about him. I know what he did. I know what he taught. I have a letter written by one of his, I guess not one of his like personal disciples, but somebody that's a disciple of somebody that had a really crazy, wild testimony on the road to Damascus there, saw Jesus after all this had taken place. I know him, and he wrote me a letter. I know all about who he was and what he did. Like he was just a figure of the past, right? Because probably in Theophilus' limited understanding, that's what he was. Now it's his disciples carrying out the work and all of that. And we can, and with the way we live, say the very same thing. Communicate the very same thing. I know who Jesus was. And by the way we approach things like the local New Testament church, we communicate. Jesus is in the past. He's really not interested in what we're about today. You say, why do you say that? Well, because again, church just can become a thing. And it can begin to be about anything we want it to be about. I was always raised going to church. So that's why I go to church. I feel guilty if I don't go. So that's why I go. All my friends are there. So that's why I go. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in my place. That's what church is about, right? It's about friends, and it's about helping people, and church begins to be about everything under the sun, but the fact is Jesus wasn't ambiguous regarding the purpose of the local church. It has a purpose. The Great Commission, the word commission, there's no more appropriate term than that. The Navy uses that term, and what it has to do with is they'll assemble a ship, and they'll assemble a crew, and they'll get captains and officers and all of that, or captain, officers, all that. And so when they design this ship, they'll build it, they'll put it through sea trials, they'll name it, they'll christen it, they'll launch it. The very last thing that happens is called the commission. And here's what it consists of. The captain will assemble the crew. On the deck, he'll receive his orders. He relays those orders to the crew. They make the first entry in the log and they set sail. Not really exciting at all, is it? But something significant has just taken place. You know what the captain is just... You know what's been communicated to him? This doesn't belong to you. This isn't yours. There was a purpose that we had in mind when we put the thing together. We just need you to sail it as we desire it to be sailed. You know what the crew's just heard? It doesn't belong to you. They're responsible to steward what's been entrusted to them. And we call that last moment, that final moment with Jesus in this church before he ascended, we call it the Great Commission. And you know what he's telling them? This isn't yours. You know what he's telling us? This isn't yours. You've been entrusted with something. I had a plan in mind. I had an agenda in mind when the thing was put together. I need you to figure this thing out. I just need you to get on board.
That's good.
Steward it as it was intended. That's it. This thing has a purpose. You have a purpose. Soul winning isn't once a week. Soul winning isn't a Saturday thing.
Right.
Not at all.